Hello everyone, this is William Armstrong. I'm going to read a video. I'm actually going to make a video about ransomware attacks, about how it happened on Bleeping Computer by Sergio Gatlin. Sorry if I mispronounced that name, but this article was written at 2:03 p.m. on January 31st, 2023. I'll explain the TLDR after this. Microsoft, over 100 threat actors deploy ransomware attacks. Microsoft revealed today that its security teams are tracking over 100 threat actors deploying ransomware during attacks. And all the company says, and it monitors over 50 unique ransomware families that were actively used until the end of last year. Some of the most prominent ransomware payloads in recent campaigns include Lockbit, Black Cat, aka Out V, Play, Vice Society, Black Basta, and Royale, Microsoft said. Defense strategies, however, should focus less on payloads, but more on the chain of activities that led to their deployment, since ransomware gangs are still targeting servers and devices not yet patched against common or recently addressed vulnerabilities. Furthermore, while new ransomware families launch all the time, most threat actors utilize the same tactics while breaching and spreading through networks, making the effort of detecting such behavior even more helpful in thwarting your attacks. As Redmond added, attackers increasingly rely on tactics beyond phishing to conduct their attacks, with threat actors such as Dev0671 and Dev0882 capitalizing on recently patched Exchange server vulnerabilities that hack vulnerable servers and deploy Cuba and Play ransomware. Last week, the Exchange team urged admins to deploy the latest supported cumulative update CU to secure on-premises Exchange servers and have them always ready to install emergency security update. Over 60,000 internet-exposed Exchange servers are still vulnerable to attacks leveraging proxy not shell RCE exploits, remote code execution exploits. At the same time, thousands still wait to be secured from attacks targeting the proxy shell and proxy logon flaws, two of the most exploited security flaws of 2021. Other ransomware actors are also switching over to using malvertising to deliver malware loaders and downloaders that help push ransomware and other various other malware strains such as information stealers. For instance, a threat actor tracked as Dev0569, believed to be initial access broker for ransomware gangs, is now abusing Google Ads and widespread advertising campaigns to distribute malware, steal passwords from infected devices, and ultimately gain access to enterprise networks. They use this access as part of their attacks to sell it to other malicious actors, including the Royal Ransomware Gang. Last year was marketed by the end of the Conti cybercrime operation and as the rise of new ransomware as a service or RAS operations, including Royal Play, and Black Boston. Meanwhile, Lockbit, Hive, Cuba, and Black Cat and Ragnar ransomware operators have kept breaching and trying to extort a steady stream of victims throughout 2022. Nevertheless, ransomware gangs saw a massive revenue drop of around 40% last year, as they were only able to extort roughly 456.8 million from victims throughout 2022 after a record-breaking 765 million in the previous 2 years, according to the blockchain analytics company Chainalysis. Chain Chainalysis. However, the significant decline was not driven by fewer attacks built by their victims' refusal to pay the attackers' ransom demands. This year has started with a big win against ransomware groups after the Hive ransomware data leak and Tor payment dark websites were seized as part of an international law enforcement operation involving the U.S. Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Secret Service and Europol. Let's see. After hacking into the Hive servers, the FBI distributed more than 1,300 decryption keys to Hive victims and gained access to Hive communication records, malware file hashes, and details on 250 Hive affiliates. The same day, the U.S. State Department has offered up to $10 million for any information that could help link the Hive ransomware gang to other threat actors or foreign governments. Basically, here's how I want to wrap up. I'm reading this article off of bleepingcomputer.com, about Microsoft is saying over 100 threat actors are deploying ransomware attacks, things like that. So Microsoft tracked over 100 threat actors doing this. The big thing I need to make clear about ransomware is one, back up your data. It should be a 3-2-1 rule. One should be backed up your data to a computer or an external hard drive that's kept offline. Two, have it in another location. Three, make sure to have a third copy of the backed up data in case something else happens to the other backups. And certainly, last but not least, if someone sends you a phishing email with a web link, don't click it. If the email has a link to something, be careful to not click it. Make sure you hover over that URL to see where it actually goes to. When in doubt, don't click links in emails you don't know who they're from unless you know who sent them to you. And two, when it comes to opening attachments in emails, always try to sandbox the attachment inside of a virtual machine or a sandbox environment, like a virtual machine, something like that. A virtual machine that is technically not connected to the internet, like a some kind of isolated sandbox where the attachments open up in a virtual environment. So in case it contains malware, there'll be a chance that the malware will infect the virtual environment, the virtual sandbox environment, but it won't affect the main host machine and travel on the network. That's basically what I would suggest that people should try to do email attachment openings in a virtual machine or a virtual sandbox. For example, Windows 10 and Windows 11, the professional versions of Windows 10 and 11 offer the virtual sandbox called Windows Sandbox. It offers that, and the Windows Sandbox is for free in Windows 10 and 11 professional versions only. Home users will not have access to the Windows Sandbox because it's a professional version, or it's because it's a home version rather. So basically, if you want the Windows Sandbox, it comes for free in Windows 10 and Windows 11 Pro versions. You would have to buy Windows 10 and Windows 11 Pro licenses. But speaking of which, Windows 10 licenses as of 2023 are no longer being sold anymore. So if you wanted Windows 11 Pro, you would have to buy an upgrade to Windows 11 Pro for home users. This is William Armstrong signing out, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.